Hi there, it's November the 5th, and today we're continuing our journey through the letter to the Hebrews. We're in chapter 7 and we're reading the first part of the chapter from verses 1 to 17. The writer has been unwrapping his theme about Jesus being of the priesthood of the order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek, remember, is that priest, the king of Salem, king of righteousness, his name means, back in Genesis 14, that Abraham met coming back from the battle, and he gave him the tithe of all of the stuff that he had. And the writer here makes a lot of this. First of all, he points out the nature of Melchizedek himself. His name, as I say, means Melchizedek, means king of righteousness. He's the king of Salem. So this is interesting that he combines the role of priest and king into one. Another thing that the writer makes much of here is that while the priesthood of Levi, that he's going to contrast Melchizedek with, while the priesthood of Levi is known of descent, his descent is known to be from Abraham. The descent of Melchizedek is not known. There's no genealogy given for Melchizedek, and there's no history afterwards. And the assumption is here, in a sense, that Melchizedek is kind of a mystical character who goes on forever and who is to be equated with Jesus, to be equated with with Jesus himself, with the Messiah himself. And when Abraham comes, he tithes to Melchizedek. Now, the writer to the Hebrews points out that in giving a tithe, in giving something to Abraham, Abraham is acknowledging the supremacy or the superiority of Melchizedek's priesthood. And also, the writer says that it's because Levi is in the loins, as it were, because the Levi is carried, he's in the seed which is going to be carried, which is being carried in Abraham. It's as though Levi and the prophet and the priests of Levi and the priesthood of Levi is paying tithes to Melchizedek, and therefore there's an acknowledgement that this Melchizedek priesthood is greater than the Levitical priesthood that's going to come later. Furthermore, the writer points out that Melchizedek blesses Abraham, and it's a greater one who blesses a lesser. And therefore, Abraham, in receiving this, again, is pointing to the fact that this Melchizedek is one who is going to supersede, whose priesthood is greater, whose priesthood is more enduring, and points to the Messiah to come. And because of this, the writer to the Hebrews says that the Melchizedek priesthood has superseded the Levitical priesthood. The Levitical priesthood passes away with the law, and actually the new priesthood comes. The new priesthood is not connected to the tribe of Levi, and so he points to the fact that Jesus in coming is part of the tribe of Judah. And Judah, of course, is the royal tribe. So here's an interesting thing. This new high priest, this one whose priest is forever, as Psalm 110 says, after the order of Melchizedek, this new priest is of the royal descent. He's from David's line. And but he also combines the priesthood into that. And therefore he is of a priesthood that endures, because Melchizedek's priesthood endures. And so Jesus has his priesthood not because he is descended from the Levitical line, but because he is given that priesthood by God, according to Psalm 110, that God has made him the priest after the order of Melchizedek. And because of that, he is able to bring us into the presence of God. He's able to bring us into that closeness to God, close up to him, right into the very presence of God. So it's the writer's going to develop this some more, but he's making a very clear case here that Jesus' priesthood is of a different form, because the priesthood of Levi has passed away. The Levitical priesthood has passed away because the law of Moses is for the people of Israel, and there's now been an upgrade, a deepening, a change in the whole nature. And so this new high priest has a high priesthood that endures, that is eternal, like the priesthood of Melchizedek. We can be so glad today that we have this priest standing now before God with the wounds of his sacrifice in his own body, in his own hands, feet and side, interceding for us before God, bringing us to God, bringing God to us. What an amazing priest this high priest of the order of Melchizedek, our Jesus, is. Have a very good November the 5th.